You're listening to the Broken Havoc podcast on YouTube, where we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the frickin' referee would say, ring that damn bell for more notifications. What's up, everybody? It is Broken Havoc here, right here on the Broken Havoc podcast, here to review AEW Dynamite from January 19th, 2021. Overall thoughts on this show. Dynamite knocked it out of the park. I will say that. It was a really good show in my opinion. Of course, Dynamite last night emanated from Washington, D.C., the same city that basically hosted the very first AEW Dynamite back in October 2nd of 2019, which was a memorable show, to say the least. But overall thoughts on this show is that, again, this show was just really fun to watch. The show flowed really well. A wrestling show is good when it's flowing really well. One moment it's 8 o'clock, and then right from the get-go, after multiple moments that you're just hooked in the television set, bro, it's already 8:45, almost 9 o'clock. Seriously, that for a fact, when the time is going by quickly, you're invested in a wrestling show. Unlike WWE, 3 hours of Raw is absolutely ridiculous in my opinion, but I digress. But we're gonna be talking about Dynamite. We're gonna be talking about the return of Jon Moxley, and I will say this was a really, and I mean a really, just amazing moment. This kicked off Dynamite, by the way, but we're gonna be talking about all that. Cody cutting a pipe bomb promo, and I will say he really put the word bomb in pipe bomb. I mean, that was a legit pipe bomb in my opinion. But yeah, before I get on with the review, but don't forget to like and subscribe to the Broken Havoc podcast on YouTube for more content. I uploaded the first episodes of New Shock and Old School Showcase, especially Old School Showcase. Give that a watch. I discussed ECW One Night Stand 2006. Go check it out. The links are in the description below. Now, we're going to be talking about AEW Dynamite. Jon Moxley kicks off the show, and I will say this, man, it is great. It is, and I mean this with the bottom of my heart, man. It is great to see Jon Moxley back in an AEW ring, man. Everybody was shocked when we all heard that Jon Moxley, he had to enter rehab due to alcohol addiction. And you know what? That I will say this, Jon Moxley, he made that decision to go to rehab, and that really, he made the decision to get help. He knew he had a problem, and he made a decision to get help. Look, addiction it's not a joke, man. Addiction is a really, really serious thing, and anybody going through addiction, I mean, get help, as fast as you can, because I promise anybody, that is suffering through addiction problems, getting help is the best way to get help and, be better. And Jon Moxley really took that, and he really got the help that he needed. He entered rehab, and I will say this, Jon Moxley came out, and he looked better than ever. He looked 10 years younger, a lot of people were saying. And I will say, the last time we saw, there's a photo comparison on when he looked the last time we saw him and what he looks now in the promo that he was cutting. And I will say this, man, Jon Moxley, he absolutely really, he looks much younger and much healthier. But overall, I mean, this whole promo that Jon Moxley cut was a very inspirational promo. A lot of people say, this was a good promo, an amazing promo. But really, the key word for this particular promo that Jon Moxley cut is inspiring. This is a really, really, and I mean really, that's the key word. Really? Actually, no, that's not the key word. Inspirational. That is the key word right there in this review. Inspirational promo by Jon Moxley. I mean, before he actually cut the promo, Jon Moxley actually called out a dumbass fan in the crowd. He was literally yelling, "Get the trash out in the ring." And Jon Moxley, was so funny. Right as soon as he was starting to talk, cut his promo and stuff and talk about what he was going through and all that stuff. You know what Jon Moxley said? He said, "Hey, go fuck yourself. Get that guy out of here, you piece of shit." That was actually arguably one of the funniest things, That is classic Jon Moxley, to be quite honest with you. That is classic Jon Moxley. And I'm going to be going through his whole promo. I'm actually going to be reading his whole promo word by word because, again, this whole promo is really, and I mean really, inspirational. So he comes in the ring, says it was a little while ago. I fell asleep on a plane. We landed. I don't even know what city I was in. And we hit the ground, and I woke up from a dream. It was a bad dream. I don't remember everything about it, but I remember I was on the side of the road on my hands and knees in the dirt. My face was bruised and cut up, and there was this black cloud hanging over me. A demon. This kind of demon that follows you your whole life. The kind of demon that follows you around the years. These demons come in all shapes and sizes for everybody. And this cloud, he's laughing at me, and he says, you, everything that you are, everything that you've become, everything that you have in your life that's good, none of that was supposed to happen. And my apologies, I'm literally moving my screen. None of these things belong to you. Where do you get off thinking you were going to make it with all that? And that cloud, this demon, he asked me, he says, did you really think you were going to make it out? The nerve of you. Did you really think you were going to make it out? And I woke up before I had the chance to answer him. Then he stated, nobody gets through life unscathed. Unscathed. My apologies. We all carry scars. The more scars on my body than the average. I have more scars on my body than the average person, but those aren't important. The important ones are the scars that we carry on the inside that are harder to see. Sometimes we try to cover up these scars. Sometimes we try to pretend these scars aren't there. But those are the scars we should be proud of. Those are the scars that tell our story. Those are the scars that gives us strength. Those are the scars that make us the people who we are. Nobody's perfect, all right? If everybody was perfect, the world would be a very boring place. So nobody, no matter who you are, no matter who you are, should be afraid to stand up in front of the whole world and bear it all. Everything that makes you who you are, scars and all, and say, hey, this is me. So that being said, I'm sure there are plenty of people somewhere around the world. I'm sure there are plenty of people who want to write me off. I'm sure there are plenty of people who doubt me. And you know what? It would be the first time. It won't be the first time, and it won't be the last time. But if you want to write me off now, if you want to doubt me, you should go ahead and say whatever you want to say. Go ahead and think whatever you want to think. And I tell you, the same thing I told that black demon, that cloud hanging over me in my dream, you can take all of that shit and shove it up your ass. I don't run from demons. I just beat the shit out of them. For everyone in this building, everyone around the world that had my back, that supported me through thick and thin, thank you. Buckle up, get ready, because we are going on a ride, baby. In the year of 2022, I'm going on a pilgrimage around the world. I'm going to grab the world of professional wrestling by the balls, no more than ever. More than anyone in this business. Now more than ever. More than anyone in this business. End quote. That was Jon Moxley's whole promo. My bad if I kind of missed anything. It was kind of blurry. Somebody actually posted the whole like promo word by word on Twitter, and I decided to read that whole promo in front of all you because his promo that Jon Moxley cut was really, in my opinion, that damn good. And you know what? It is great. It is great to see Jon Moxley back in an AEW ring, man. It's good to see back Jon Moxley in the ring in general, man. Like the guy, again, he made the right decision to go to rehab. You know, he knew he had a problem. We all didn't know, but we all knew. No, not we all knew. We all didn't know, actually. We all didn't know, but he knew that he had a problem, and he actually, faced that problem himself and actually, succeeded. And you know what? It's great to see Jon Moxley back, and I'm glad he's back in AEW because, quite frankly, to me at least, Jon Moxley, is AEW in a way, man. The guy carried the company on his back throughout 2020. And, I will say this, man. This whole promo that Jon Moxley cut is arguably one of his best promos. And Jon Moxley is known to cut really good promos in wrestling. But, again, this whole promo is by far amazing. End of story. All right. MJF is backstage and says last week was an abomination. Of course, last week, not Shawn Spears, he faces CM Punk on this particular show, but Wardlow faced CM Punk and basically annihilated CM Punk, but CM Punk, of course, got the inside cradle in the last moment of the match to get the pinfall victory. MJF was then pissed, and then what happened? Wardlow was about to put his hands on MJF, but then Shawn Spears came in and all that shit. You know what went down. They're basically teasing the fact that, Wardlow is breaking off from the Pinnacle. And you know what? If that is the case, all power, 100% I'm for that because of the fact that Wardlow is getting so over, in my opinion. And they're just teasing it on television and it makes the perfect sense. But MJF says last week was an embarrassment. Punk decided to take the easy way out. He's here to apologize because it is Wardlow's birthday. Happy birthday, Wardlow. And he owes him an apology. But he put his hands on him. And then, MJF being the dick that he is, MJF says, I know it's your birthday. However, you put your hands on me and I'm going to have to dock your pay. But you are able to, if you win the Face of the Revolution ladder match, which the winner gets a shot at the TNT Championship, I will, get the money that you need and all that stuff. So, yeah, MJF docks the pay of Wardlow on his birthday. Wow. Of course, this is all kayfabe and stuff, but still, MJF again is arguably the best heel in the business today, man. MJF knows how to really piss people off and really know how to generate a reaction. And MJF, man, with this whole Wardlow thing, it can go many different ways. He can either, win the Face of the Revolution ladder match and then eventually, give the title back to MJF, but he doesn't and all that stuff, or loses and then MJF just gets pissed and then, that's how he breaks up from the Pinnacle. Who knows? There are many different scenarios that can really happen when it comes to the Face of the Revolution ladder match. I definitely do see Wardlow winning the match, but honestly, is he going to beat Cody for the title? Who knows? I definitely do see Cody still having the TNT Championship for the next 1 or 2 months, in my opinion. But overall, this was a good backstage segment, in my opinion. MJF is just amazing at what he does. We got Adam Cole and Britt Baker, of course, the power couple, the greatest power couple in the history of the sport, versus Orange Cassidy and Kris Statlander in a mixed tag team match. Overall thoughts on this match is I really enjoyed this match. It was a really, really fun match to watch on Dynamite. The chemistry that Adam Cole and Britt Baker have together. I know they're a couple in real life, but they have really good teamwork skills, and that is just great to see. Orange Cassidy and Kris Statlander, what can I say about them? They're just amazing. In general, I love the Best Friends. Best Friends are one of the best things about AEW, in my opinion. But the match starts. Statlander and Baker start. Then all of a sudden, Britt Baker tags in Adam Cole, which forces Cassidy to tag in. Then, Britt tags in again, but then Britt Baker faces Cassidy. Cassidy then does his amazing kicks on Britt Baker, but then Britt stomps the foot of Cassidy. Then Kris hits a slam on Britt. Then Kris almost hits the Big Bang Theory, but Britt tags Cole. Cassidy goes to the top and hits a crossbody, but then Cole counters a tornado DDT. We get a pump kick by Cole. We get a swinging DDT by Cassidy, taking Cole to the outside. We get a kick by Britt Baker, but then Kris picks up Britt Baker, and then Kris holds on. And then Cassidy casually pushes Statlander for Statlander to suplex Britt Baker, which was amazing. Again, Cassidy is just awesome at what he does, man. Then we get a pendulum moonsault by Cassidy. No, I think it was it was by Cassidy. Cassidy then, it was by Kris Statlander. My apologies, I messed up my notes. It was a pendulum moonsault on the apron by Kris Statlander. Cassidy then casually cross bodies Cole on the outside from the apron. Then both Kris Statlander and Orange Cassidy hug, but then both Britt Baker and Adam Cole both super kick Statlander and Cassidy respectively, and then Cole and Britt Baker kiss. Then after that, we go to commercial break. Cole and Britt Baker are in control. Cole then is in control during the break. Once we're back from break, we got a double clothesline by Cole and Cassidy. Then the hot tag is made with the women. We get a backbreaker by Statlander. And then Kris Statlander proceeds to send Britt to the corner. We get a running knee in the corner. And then Statlander proceeds to hit a blue thunder bomb. Then after that, we get a cover into near fall. Then Statlander picks up Britt Baker. Then Britt escapes. Then we get a backslide by Britt Baker, but we get a near fall. Then we get a swinging neck breaker by Britt Baker. Then the hot tag is made with the men. Then both Cole and Cassidy exchange shots. We get a thrust kick onto the knee of Cassidy. We get an enziguri by Cole. Then we get a stunt dog millionaire counter by Cassidy when Cole tries to go for the backbreaker. Then Statlander makes the blind tag. We get a stomp by Britt on Cassidy when the ref wasn't looking. So she legit hit the curve stomp on Orange Cassidy. Then Statlander proceeds to hit the Blue Thunder Bomb. Then Statlander goes to the top, but Cole protects Britt Baker. But Statlander doesn't really care. Instead, hits the 450 splash on Cole while he is on top of Britt Baker. So Adam Cole's right there is being a good human being and protecting his girlfriend. Gotta love Adam Cole. Cassidy then hits the beach break. We get a cover by Cassidy and a near fall. Cole escapes to the ramp. Then Cassidy runs over the top rope but lands into a super kick on the ramp by Adam Cole. Then Cole goes to the top and tries to hit the Panama Sunrise, but Statlander pushes Cassidy back in the ring. But then Britt Baker out of nowhere hits a kick on Statlander on the ramp. Then Britt hits the Canadian Destroyer on Kris Statlander. Then Cole hits the Panama Sunrise in the ring on Cassidy. We get a cover and a close-ass near fall. I actually thought that was actually going to be the finish of the match, but I was wrong. But then Britt Baker and Adam Cole go to the Timekeepers area. Then they take a table and set up a table on the outside of the ring. So they take out the table from the Timekeepers area and set it up in one corner of the ring on the outside. Then Cassidy misses the beach break, but then by accident, when he was going for the ropes, Britt Baker was on the apron and pushes, by accident, Britt Baker, and then she goes through the table, and she sold it like $1 million. She sold it like crazy, I will say that. A lot of people are saying she was overselling it, but it's just a table spot. she went through way worse, let's be honest. Did you guys watch that match with Thunder Rosa? I keep stating this honestly, on every freaking Dynamite review, I always mention the Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker match because that's arguably one of the best women's matches I've ever seen and one of the best Dynamite matches I've ever seen. Britt Baker went through way worse, but that was actually pretty funny. But then Cole gets pissed off at Orange Cassidy. He proceeds to hit the low blow. Then he hits the boom. We get a cover, but there is no referee. A referee finally comes in. Then we get a cover. Adam Cole and Britt Baker win the match. Overall thoughts on this match. Again, this was a really fun mixed tag team match. The chemistry that Adam Cole and Kris Statlander have is really, really good. Orange Cassidy, oh my god, the spots that Orange Cassidy was doing in this match was just amazing. Bro, I loved the fact that he just did, he'd be casually doing a lot of stuff. As always, Orange Cassidy is always known for doing casual things like those amazing, and those amazing super kicks. He also pushed Statlander when she held up Britt Baker for her to successfully hit the freaking suplex. And of course, he casually cross-bodied Adam Cole, which was hilarious. But again, this was a really fun match, and I really enjoyed it. Alex Marvez interviews Santana and Ortiz and Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho's talking about Eddie Kingston, saying that he does not care about Eddie Kingston, and all he is focused on is kicking the ass of 2.0. But Santana just stops him right there, and he says, you may not care about Eddie Kingston, but we do. And then he was talking about what Eddie Kingston said last week, basically stating that, Eddie Kingston was right. The reason why they don't have the tag titles and everybody else is going, everybody is passing them is because of Chris Jericho. And then Santana says what Kingston said last week, he was right. And then Ortiz basically states that they do care about Eddie Kingston, and maybe they're not the tag team champions because of Jericho. So there's a lot of tension going on within the Inner Circle. Not looking good for the Inner Circle. What are my thoughts on this? Santana and Ortiz, man, I've always, I've always stated these on my Dynamite and AEW reviews in general. Santana and Ortiz, it is so crazy how we had the Young Bucks, now Jurassic Express, FTR, SCU, all these tag teams having the tag titles, yet, we never had Santana and Ortiz win the tag titles, and it's already 3 years into AEW. Come on now, man. But I definitely do see them, eventually this year winning the tag titles. I thought they were going to win the tag titles last year, but that was unfortunately not going to be the case. Is this going to lead to a breakup with Santana and Ortiz teaming up with Eddie Kingston. A lot of people are talking about LAX because Eddie Kingston and Santana and Ortiz do have a history with Eddie Kingston back in Impact Wrestling with LAX. But do I think that's going to be happening? Maybe. There are many different possibilities that they can do, either with Santana and Ortiz turning on Jericho, or maybe they, eventually, Eddie Kingston just comes into the fray and whatever. There's so many different possibilities that can happen. Again, the possibilities are endless. And to be quite honest with you, any way that AEW does it, I definitely do see it happening. And any way that they do it, I think it will come off as really good. And it would eventually lead to Santana and Ortiz winning the tag team championships. All right. Adam Cole, we get a backstage interview after, of course, the match. Adam Cole is absolutely pissed off. He says that Orange Cassidy has been on his throne and he's been a thorn in his eye for way too long. He's done everything. What more does he need to do? Then after that, he says next week at Beach Break, he proposes Adam Cole versus Orange Cassidy in a lights out match. Beach Break is actually looking to be a really good show. We got a ladder match between Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara to crown the true TNT champion, which I'm really excited to see. But I'm gonna talk about that later on. But we got Adam Cole versus Orange Cassidy in a lights out match next week for Beach Break. I'm all in for it. I definitely do think after this particular lights out match, which I do believe Cole will go over, because I don't think he should lose at any moment right now, in my opinion. I just do not think he should lose at all, because of the fact that Adam Cole right now is going to be on the roll. And a lot of people on social media are complaining about how Adam Cole is booked. And people do not realize that right now, right after this feud with Orange Cassidy is done, which I do believe that the conclusion of the feud will definitely be next week. Omega, whenever Omega is coming back, a lot of people are saying he's going to go towards the world title. And, eventually Adam Cole will be the AEW world champion, but I just do not see, honestly, in my opinion, I do not see Adam Cole beating Hangman Page for the AEW world title. It can happen, and I will support it, but I feel like the most logical person to beat Hangman Page right now for the world title is definitely MJF. Adam Cole, he's got the whole thing with the Elite going on. I feel like AEW is going to work on that feud. And, once Omega comes back, I predict that there's going to be a trilogy between Kenny Omega and Adam Cole in a series of matches, because they're definitely, I believe that he's definitely going to be feuding all year long, in my opinion. Can he win the TNT Championship? Yes. There's many different possibilities, again, with Adam Cole. And that is the beauty of AEW, man. AEW really sets the standard for all of their future feuds, and they really plan things out in advance. And that's just what I really enjoy. WWE never plans everything in advance. Whenever one thing goes wrong, everything else goes to shit. That is really the true philosophy in today's WWE. But with AEW, it's a completely different story. AEW really does everything long term, and that's what I really enjoy. I definitely do see right after Adam Cole is done with Orange Cassidy, he's definitely going to be turning him, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly are definitely going to turn on the Young Bucks. And once Omega comes back, it's going to be a big deal. We are probably going to get blood and guts. I definitely do see the Undisputed Era, aka the Paragon, going up against the Elite in blood and guts. I mean, it's bound to happen, in my opinion. It's just bound to happen. But we get CM Punk versus Shawn Spears. MJF comes out and he's on commentary. I will say this, man. I love, MJF on commentary. Whenever he's on commentary, he's just flat out hilarious. If you guys remember the Chris Jericho Nick Gage match a couple of months ago last year, MJF was just amazing on the microphone, on the commentary desk. And, the guy knows how to speak. And again, the guy is going to be a huge star. I mean, he's already a star. He's MJF. But this match did not last long whatsoever. This match actually lasted, it was only a GTS 1, 2, 3, and Punk instantly squashed, I should say. He squashed the chairman, Shawn Spears, in this whole matchup. What are my thoughts on it? I stated on Twitter, I really have no thoughts on it. I was just like, I don't have anything to say. A lot of people were complaining, because of the fact that, they be building up this match and all that stuff. And then, this match only ended in less than, a couple seconds. But I mean, to be quite honest with you, I mean, I was complaining about the whole Aaliyah thing when it came to Natalya, because of the fact that, number one, the whole thing was a complete joke. And this whole thing plays in with the storyline with MJF, with CM Punk going through the whole Pinnacle. And I completely forgot that he did pin one of the members of FTR in that match when he was teaming up with Sting and Darby Allin a couple of weeks ago on Dynamite. I was thinking, oh, he's going to face FTR like in a handicap match or something like that. But no, I don't think that's going to be the case. But I definitely do, of course, this is going to lead to a match between CM Punk and MJF. And who I think is definitely going to be winning, MJF, because, I think MJF is going to be giving CM Punk his first loss. Not only that, I mean, again, this is the year of MJF, and I state this every fucking week. This 2022 is arguably the year of MJF. MJF, whether you like it or not, is going to win the World Championship. And you know what? I think it's a brilliant decision on AEW's part because of the fact that MJF freaking deserves it. He's arguably one of the best in the business today right now. But, CM Punk squashed Shawn Spears, and, that's that. We got Billy Gunn backstage in a weird segment. He meets up with Christian Cage and says that his sons deserve a shot at the Tag Team Championships against the Jurassic Express. And then, Christian Cage was saying, they got to make an impact and all that stuff. And what happens? Austin and Colton Gunn attack Christian Cage out of nowhere. And, yeah, they made it a match. I don't remember. I didn't write the card for Rampage or Dynamite. I know Dynamite next week is going to be stacked, but Rampage is actually going to be live this Friday, so that's great to see. But we're going to be getting a Jurassic Express versus Austin and Colton Gunn, the Gun Club. It's pretty obvious that the Jurassic Express is going to win this match. It'd be really stupid if AEW put the belt on Austin and Colton Gunn. Nothing against Austin and Colton Gunn, but come on, I mean, it's pretty obvious that the Jurassic Express is 100% going to be winning this match. I mean, they just won the tag titles like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it makes the perfect sense. But, after that, we got one of the best segments in the entire night, if not the best segment in the whole night. We got Cody Rhodes. Yes, Cody Rhodes is back after not being on television for the past 2 weeks because of a medical protocol. Of course, he was originally supposed to face Sammy Guevara for the TNT. He was actually supposed to defend the TNT Championship against Sammy Guevara at Battle of the Belts. Check out my review of Battle of the Belts to let you guys know my thoughts on the show. But unfortunately, of course, he had a medical reason why he couldn't attend the show. And instead, they went with Dustin as a replacement, and they crowned an interim TNT champion. And I actually supported the idea of an interim champion, in my opinion, because the show is specifically called Battle of the Belts. So, if you have a show called Battle of the Belts, I would assume that belts would be on the line, and an integral part of that is definitely the TNT Championship. And I totally understand why they crowned an interim TNT champion on that specific scenario. But Sammy Guevara, of course, is the current TNT champion. And Cody Rhodes, I mean, a lot of people, Cody Rhodes is talking about the pipe bomb. This whole promo that Cody Rhodes cut in this segment was a flat out pipe bomb. Like, as I've stated earlier on in this review, Cody Rhodes put the bomb in the word pipe bomb because he be mentioning a lot of stuff in this segment that, I mean, he took shots. He legitimately took shots. Here are a couple of notes that I took of Cody Rhodes' segment. We get a bunch of boos in the crowd, of course. Cody Rhodes, as you guys all know, Cody Rhodes has been getting a negative reaction, even though he is a babyface. And this, again, I repeat, this is not a scenario. This is not a scenario in which AEW is not listening to the fans, in which, they're just going to keep Cody Rhodes as a babyface, and that's that. WWE would do that because, they want their top guy. They just want to shove the top guy down your throats. WWE does not, and I repeat, WWE does not have a book of babyface. Every time when they have a top guy, they always, and I mean always, overexpose them. And that is like the main problem when it comes to the WWE. But Cody Rhodes got a negative reaction. And one thing I will say about this particular promo is the fact that, Cody Rhodes, we can all agree that Cody Rhodes is that talented at, his job. He's that damn good. He knows how to tell a story. He knows how to cut a freaking damn good promo. And he really brings the emotion in his promos. You can really tell, this ain't something that, he's reading off a script. Why do you think AEW is so good? It's because of guys like Cody Rhodes. But, when it came to this particular promo, I will say this. Cody Rhodes really knows how to control the crowd. Cody Rhodes, in the beginning of this promo, went from being booed to the end being cheered by the crowd. Again, Cody Rhodes knows how to control the crowd. And really, that is what makes a good wrestler, people. What makes a good wrestler is them controlling the crowd, because at the end of the day, Cody Rhodes knows that he's getting a negative reaction from the crowd. So he's like, all right, what can I do to have the fans just rejoice and just cheer me on? All right, let's just do a full flat out pipe bomb. And I will say, this is arguably one of Cody Rhodes' best promos, and he has a track record of really, really good promos. But he asks the crowd what they want to talk about, and that was actually really funny because of the fact that we all know Cody Rhodes is actually currently a free agent. Yes, he does not have a contract with AEW, and he is the current TNT champion. He's not going to be at the Royal Rumble, everybody. So don't get your hopes up. He's not going to be at the Royal Rumble. He's just not. But he asked the crowd what they want to talk about, and this whole thing reminds him about a man who sat on the stage and looked at the ring and gave his thoughts, and he addressed everybody, and of course that he's talking about the pipe bomb promo that CM Punk cut way back in 2011 on that fateful episode of Raw. Then he says that it inspired many people. It was the first hint of a revolution. Of course, he's talking about CM Punk and the pipe bomb. In that interview, he played everything out. He talks about going to New Japan Pro Wrestling, going to Ring of Honor, teaming with the Young Bucks. As Destiny, basically said, and he wouldn't do those things. And then all of a sudden we got shut the fuck up chants by the crowd. So after that, he would eventually end up here in AEW. That's what Cody wrote to state. And he says it's the comeback of the decade. But in his absence, someone did do every one of those things. And he's, of course, referring to himself, Cody. He basically carried of anti-monopoly, and he carried it, and everybody cheered. Why won't he turn heel? Because they cheered him first. Then people talk about the forbidden door, but before there was a forbidden door, he was the one who built it. Then, of course, he's gone for 2 weeks, and he sees the Young Bucks almost started the Wednesday Night Wars again. And, Ricky Starks gets into a fight with Jay Lethal, and, of course, he states that, you should avoid the lethal injection. Malachi Black is the guy, that beat him, and he talks about Brody, Darby, Miro, and the current TNT champion, Sammy Guevara. And again, that whole line where, he talks about the Young Bucks starting the Wednesday Night Wars all over again, that was really funny. And then, one line that Cody Rhodes said is that he basically stated, and I quote, "I know we're not in the business of renaming people Gunther McGillibuddy, but showing up in AEW and calling yourself Brody takes balls." Yeah, that was a direct shot at, of course, the WWE. If you guys do not know, WWE trademarked the name Gunther Stark, and Gunther Stark is a former Nazi, or I should say he was a Nazi, and everybody, including myself, there was a large-ass backlash by WWE, and it got so far to the point where they actually renamed Walter. They renamed Walter on NXT after his really good match with Roderick Strong this past Tuesday on NXT. And he says, and the winner of this match is Gunther. So they didn't add the Stark, they only added Gunther. Again, I'm not the biggest NXT watcher, but, Walter, again, I didn't even watch a lot of Walter matches. Like, I can recall the match that he had with Pete Dunne. That was where he beat Pete Dunne at TakeOver New York to be the NXT UK champion. But Walter is, from what I've seen, Walter is that damn good. And, he had a whole streak going on for the past 3 years. They were building him up really well. And the fact that, they renamed him Gunther is fucking stupid. And, it shows WWE's stupidity because they don't even know how to Google things. One simple Google search. But look, this is the lesson right here. Before you trademark something, Google it first. Okay. WWE did not do that. But again, Cody Rhodes, of course, took that shot about the whole Gunther thing. It's a whole story in and of itself, and it's actually really stupid on WWE's part. It goes to show you the stupidity of management in the WWE. They're really that stupid. And this isn't the first time that, they basically named somebody something and they didn't Google it first. It happened way back in 2015 when they were going to name Paige, Becky Lynch, and who was that? Who else was it? Charlotte as well. And they called him, I don't even want to name it because of the fact that it's completely inappropriate. But they didn't even Google it. Go search it up yourself. I know what the name is. I'm not just going to say it here in the video because of the fact that it's just completely inappropriate. But so continuing on with Cody Rhodes' promo, Cody Rhodes then, there's a ladder in the center of the ring, and he goes up the ladder, and he says that Tony Khan has sent a contract, and, he says, it's probably not the contract that I wanted, which was, kind of like, teasing something, but we all know Cody is eventually going to resign. So just because Cody says it, look, Cody Rhodes, teasing things is exactly like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire with Spider-Man No Way Home. Look, they constantly deny, but, eventually they were in the movie. Spoiler alert, but everybody should have seen the movie. But I'm just saying, this is kind of a different scenario. This is a different scenario. Look, Cody Rhodes is just saying shit that for the sake of saying shit for the shock value, but he's not going to do it. Cody Rhodes is not going to be in the Royal Rumble. Please cut the shit on Twitter. He's not going to be at the Royal Rumble. He's going to re-sign with AEW. Period. He's not going to be at the Royal Rumble. But he goes up the ladder and, of course, challenges Sammy Guevara into a ladder match next week at Beach Break to crown the only TNT champion. And the other thing that he stated in this promo, and I didn't write about this, but he basically put over the TNT championship. What he stated was, a lot of people view the TNT championship as a secondary title. And, the reason why people say that is because currently there are two champions, him and Sammy Guevara. So that whole connection right there was actually really good by Cody Rhodes. I love the fact that, he made that connection. And, what are my thoughts on it? Cody Rhodes, this promo was arguably one of the best promos that Cody Rhodes has cut, in my opinion. It was just flat out amazing and awesome. Cody Rhodes knows how to tell stories. He knows how to really control the crowd. And right after he finished with his promo, Cody Rhodes was getting, he was getting cheered by the crowd. So do I think this is going to continue? Probably not, considering the fact that the crowds are not stupid when it comes to Cody Rhodes and AEW. I definitely do see Cody Rhodes getting booed again. We all know eventually in a couple months down the road, Cody's going to have to turn heel, in my opinion. He says he's not going to turn heel, but I definitely do see him turning heel. This is a case where Cody's just like working everybody. Like Cody knows the fact that he's getting negative reactions, and he just loves what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? He just loves the fact that he's just trolling everybody, in my opinion. But again, AEW is not stupid. But yeah, that was the Cody Rhodes segment. An amazing segment, in my opinion. We get the Kings of Black, Malachi Black and Brody King going up against the Varsity Blondes. This was not a long match. Now, granted, I will say, of course, Brody King made his debut last week on Dynamite. And I will say this, the team of Brody King and Malachi Black is amazing. Not only that, this was a really short match. And, let's be honest, of course they were going to be going over. But I will say this, I love their friggin' entrance. The entrance of the Kings of the Black Throne is just amazing. Like, Malachi Black, I dug his, when he was Aleister Black in the WWE, I dug his NXT entrance. I dig his current Malachi Black entrance, and I love this entrance, in my opinion. It's just flat out awesome. But Black and Griff Garrison start, Brody King tags in, and then Pillman tags in. We get a right hand by Pillman. He tries to go for a springboard. So Pillman at this point is on the apron. He tries to go for a springboard, but he retreats. And then Brody King runs towards Garrison when he and Brian Pillman are arguing. Then after that, Brody King drives Brian to the apron. We get a double team attempt by the House of Black. We get a senton by Brody King. Black throws Pillman to Brody King, and King slams Brody King. No, he slams Pillman to the mat. We get a cover, and the House of Black win the match. Then the House of Black, Malachi Black just grabs the mic and says, "The House of Black, please rise." And then, of course, the lights, I think the lights went out. I don't think the lights went out, but we get a promo package of Pac. So basically, they're teasing a match between Malachi Black and Pac, which is a match I would love to see. But yeah, we got one match that I really, in my opinion, just did not enjoy. That, in my opinion, a match that just happened, and that is Frankie Kazarian versus Lance Archer. A lot of people were complaining on the fact that this match went extremely long, and I will admit this match went really long. To be quite honest with you, this match should have really been a squash match. I really just did not care at all. about this particular match, considering the fact that we all know eventually Lance Archer is going to be facing Hangman Page for the AEW World Title. Hope to God it's not going to be at Revolution, because of the fact that at Revolution it should be. Please, AEW, listen to what I am saying. Do not book Lance Archer versus Hangman Page at Revolution. Book Danielson versus Hangman 3 in an Iron Man match. Please. I'm begging you. I thought that this match was actually going to be happening at Beach Break, but apparently that's not the case, because they didn't announce any match, any world title match, regarding Hangman Page and Lance Archer for Beach Break. But he was at, the match starts. We get an elbow strike by Lance, and I will say, Lance had the majority of the offense in this match. He did. Kaz fights back. We got a drop kick on the knee of Lance. We got a shot to the back of the neck of Kazarian by Archer. We got an overhand chop in the corner by Archer. We get a knee by Archer. He's in control. We get a right elbow strike by Lance in the corner. Kaz then tries to fight back. He throws Kaz across the ring. Then Lance Archer is in control during the match. Kaz then gets sent in the corner. Kaz then regains control, but then Archer takes Kaz to the outside. Once we go to commercial break, Lance is in control during the break. Once we're back from break, Lance is in control. He sends Kaz again to the corner. We get a knee to the face by Kaz by Lance Archer. We get a piece of shit chant after that by the crowd. Then we get a right hand by Lance Archer. He takes Kaz and tries to chokeslam him, but Kaz reverses and fights back with a couple of right hands. We get a flying forearm by Kazarian, but then in the corner, Lance Archer regains control. Kaz is on the top rope. He tries to fight out Lance Archer, but then we get a missile dropkick by Kazarian off the top. Then we get a flying leg drop by Kazarian, but we get a cover, but it's a 1 count. No near fall at this time. Then we get a knee to the back of Lance Archer. We get a forearm by Lance, and he takes Kaz and hits a choke slam. Then he hits the Helicoaster, takes Kaz to the top, and then he hits the blackout cover, and Lance Archer wins the match. Overall thoughts on this match, again, a match that I really just did not care about, to be quite honest with you. Kazarian is awesome, but, I just did not care about this match. This match just went way too long, and that's just my opinion. I just wasn't really as invested in this match. This was like one of the things of Dynamite that I really just didn't enjoy, to be quite honest with you. Tony Schiavone then, after the match, interviews Dan Lambert and Lance Archer. Then Tony doesn't understand the relationship between Dan Lambert and Lance Archer. If you guys don't remember, back at Road Rager a couple months ago last year, Dan Lambert was talking shit about AEW. And then what happens? Lance Archer just gives him the blackout. But now they're suddenly a team together. Dan says that he isn't old enough for this. Him and his friends played video games. Dan is talking about Hangman, by the way. Him and his friends played video games inside. He is not mentally prepared for this monster. Lance takes the microphone and then says, "Enough of this cowboy bullshit." He shows him what he's going to do, and then he throws a chair on the outside. Then he takes Kaz outside on the ramp. Archer then is about to chokeslam Kazarian on the chair on the ramp, but then Hangman Page comes out, and he goes face-to-face with Lance Archer. Then he proceeds to slap Archer. Archer goes for an elbow. Both proceed to exchange shots after that. Then all of a sudden, Hangman hits a boot. Then Lance catches Hangman when he tries to go for the buckshot lariat, but then Hangman fights back and says Archer to the outside, and that quote-unquote segment ends. Overall thoughts, it was not a bad, post-match segment, in my opinion. It was not bad at all. But again, I just hope to God that this does not happen at Revolution. If this does happen at Revolution, I will be extremely disappointed, in my opinion. I just do not want this match to happen at Revolution. I want a third match with Danielson, please. That feud between Danielson and Hangman Page should be a trilogy, in my opinion. It just should be a trilogy. All right. Alex Marvez interviews Matt Sydal, Lee Moriarty, and Dante Martin. Dante says that he has the back of Lee Moriarty and Matt Sydal, and then Lee Moriarty states that him and Matt Sydal have the back of Dante Martin once his brother Darius comes back, and hopefully Darius comes back, because I'm a big fan of Top Flight, and it sucks that Darius is injured right now, but when he comes back, Top Flight is just going to be definitely one of the top tag teams, in my opinion, in the tag team division. All right. Then after that, Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs are backstage, and Hobbs basically states that, Dante Martin better have someone to basically watch his back and also his front. Tony Schiavone then interviews Kris Statlander and Red Velvet. Bro, Tony Schiavone is freaking everywhere. And that's what I love about, when I watch Dynamite every week. Like, Tony Schiavone just teleports, like, everywhere. Tony Schiavone interviews Kris Statlander in Red Velvet. Layla Hirsch then comes in out of nowhere and says that, Kris Statlander is the reason why they lost. And, she states that she did not have the same focus, in this match, like she did. She did not have the same focus on Rampage like she did for this same match. And then, of course, what happens is that Layla attacks Red Velvet, but then it proceeds to attack Kris Statlander. So officially, Layla Hirsch is officially a heel. Okay, my opinion, I mean, there was really nothing wrong with Layla Hirsch. I don't know why they turned her heel, to be quite honest with you. I just do not understand why they turned Layla Hirsch heel. It made absolutely no sense. I was totally fine with Layla Hirsch being a flat-out babyface, in my opinion. She could have been, like, a really, in my opinion, she would have been fine as a babyface, but AEW turned her heel. Let's see where this goes. Hopefully this is not bad, but I'm just saying, they really did not need to turn Layla Hirsch heel. We get Sky Blue versus Serena Deeb. This was a really good match. I don't want to say it was a really good match, but of course, the obvious woman won this match, of course, that being Serena Deeb. Of course, last week, she basically faced Hikaru Shida in a match where she attacked Hikaru Shida before the match even started. I remember when they booked that match again, I was like, why are they booking Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb again? I love the heel work that Serena Deeb is doing, but again, why are we getting Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida, like, over and over again? Like, I understand it's a feud, but, like, still, it kind of, in a way, kind of gives me WWE vibes. But, I mean, when it comes to rematches in AEW does rematches completely different than WWE does. WWE does rematches for the sake of rematches, because they don't have anything else. When it comes to Serena Deeb, I definitely do see AEW doing something with Serena Deeb. And I'm not going to lie, I'm really enjoying the work of Serena Deeb, especially her as a current heel right now. But both lock up. We get a takedown by Serena Deeb. We get a waist lock. Then we get a side headlock by Deeb, and then we get a shoulder tackle. Deeb then sends Sky to the apron. We get a right forearm by Sky. Then Deeb applies a guillotine. Then Deeb hits a clothesline in the corner. We get a slingshot by Serena Deeb on Sky Blue and onto the bottom rope. We get an uppercut by Deeb. Then we get an uppercut to the back of Sky Blue. Then Serena Deeb hits the swinging neck breaker. Then she hits the deep tox, applies the single leg Boston Crab. Sky Blue taps out, and Serena Deeb wins this match. Again, pretty obvious that Serena Deeb was going to be going over, considering the fact that she is a full blown heel. I mean, she's been a full blown heel for a while now, but again, it's pretty obvious that, Serena Deeb was definitely going to be winning this match. We get a video package on Hook. Of course, Hook is amazing. Then after that, of course, Matt Hardy backstage is with Andrade and Idolo. And Hardy states that he sold 50% of HFO, and they will be known as the AHFO, and says that they want to recruit Darby Allin. Then we got Sting and Darby Allin versus the Acclaimed in the main event. Overall, this was a really fun match, in my opinion. I really enjoyed the match. Sting, again, for his age, looks great. And, you get a lot of these E-drones, man. And I'm going to call them E-drones. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to call them E-drones on Twitter. These people always complain, Goldberg is always, whenever he's in the WWE, people complain. But when Sting is wrestling on AEW, you support it, because WWE and AEW utilize their legends completely different. WWE uses their veterans for, just to gain clout. That's it. AEW can do that as well. They do that as well, but their mentality is completely different. They definitely do treat their veterans much better, in my opinion. Another thing is the fact that, Sting really never got he never really got his true last run in his career. We thought that was going to be the case when he was with TNA, but everybody knew, like, the guy needed to go to the WWE, and, like, why he did not re-sign in 2011. He was supposed to face The Undertaker and all that stuff, but he stayed in TNA from, like, 2006 through, like, 2014. He eventually went to the WWE in 2014. His run was really, in my opinion, kind of lackluster, of course. He lost to Triple H, which I thought was actually the wrong decision, and lost to Seth Rollins, and then that's that. But his AEW run so far is amazing. I really enjoyed it, and I love the pairing between Darby Allin, of course. I mean, I've been stating that every single week on Dynamite. I just love the pairing between Sting and Darby Allin. So Caster attacks Sting before the match even starts. The Acclaimed take a chair, Caster wraps the chair to the neck of Darby and send him to the post when Bowen. So right before he sends Darby to the ring post, Bowen screams right at the face of Darby Allin, "Welcome to the Black Parade, bitch," which was actually really funny, of course, because we know that the Acclaimed love joking about Darby Allin with those emo jokes, which is hilarious. Sting gets up. Then the doctors are seeing Darby. Sting proceeds to fight off the Acclaimed by himself, and then the true match fully starts by itself. Then he sends Bowens in the corner. Then Sting sends Caster onto the steel steps on the outside. Once again, he sends Caster to the steps. We get a Stinger Splash in the corner on Caster. Then he tries to hit the Stinger Splash on Bowens, but runs into the corner when Bowens exposes the turnbuckle. We get a cover and a near fall. We go to commercial break. Then the Acclaimed are in control. Once we're back from break, the Acclaimed is in control. Sting then hits a double clothesline on the Acclaimed. Then he applies the Scorpion Deathlock on Max Caster. Then we get a thrust kick on Bowens. Sting no-sells the freaking thrust kick while he is applying the Scorpion Deathlock, which is freaking awesome. But then he hits another thrust kick, and then Sting goes down after that. Then after that, Sting is on the outside, and Bowens hits the boombox on the outside without the referee looking. Caster sets up the steel steps. Caster is on top of the steps. Darby then, out of nowhere, runs and flies on Caster and just takes out Max Caster. Darby then officially tags in, so he's the legal man. We get a coffin drop on the Acclaimed on the outside. Then Darby hits a beautiful Code Red. Then after that, where are my notes? I lost track where my notes are. So he hits the Code Red. We get a cover into near fall. We get a coffin splash by Darby. We get a guillotine by Darby on Caster. And then Caster tags Bowens when Caster breaks out. We get a couple of chops by Bowens. Bowens then hits a thrust kick. Then Caster off the top rope hits the mic drop after that. We get a cover by Bowens, and then we get a near fall. Sting takes the Acclaimed onto the ramp. Sting is on the stage. Then what happens? Sting is, going crazy. At his age, he hits a splash off the stage through the table on Caster. Then Darby hits a stunner on Bowens. He goes to the top. He hits the coffin drop on Anthony Bowens. We get a cover. 1, 2, 3. Sting and Darby Allin win the main event of Dynamite against the Acclaimed. Overall thoughts on this match. I really enjoyed this match. Again, a really fun match to close off a really good episode of Dynamite, in my opinion. I really enjoyed Dynamite this week. It was a really fun show, to be quite honest with you. I really enjoyed all again, this match was awesome. I love the chemistry with Darby Allin and Sting, and yeah, that was the main event. But overall, Dynamite was a really good show this week, in my opinion. There was a couple of nitpicks about it, but really nothing really to be mad about, to be quite honest with you. Almost every week, AEW delivers on Dynamite. And that was Dynamite from January 19th, 2022. Again, overall thoughts, probably a really good show. Not probably. I keep messing up my words. My apologies. Again, this was a really good show. I really enjoyed it. JON MOXLEY back is just flat out awesome. And, just a lot of things going down, a couple of nitpicks there and there. But again, this was a really good episode of Dynamite. The Cody promo, the JON MOXLEY promo, the mixed tag team match, everything on the show, almost everything on the show was really good in my opinion. But yeah, that was my Dynamite review from January 19th, 2022. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications, and be on the lookout for more videos right here on the Broken Havoc podcast. And this is Broken Havoc from the Broken Havoc podcast, signing out.